Hey everyone, we're about to jump into the world of early childhood math. And I'll give you a hint, it's probably not what you think it is. We're going to see how it's way less about boring drills and so much more about these incredible moments of discovery.
So let me ask you something right off the bat. When I say preschool math, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For a lot of people, it's probably flashcards, or maybe number charts, maybe rows of tiny desks.
But right here is the first big myth we've got to bust. High-quality preschool math is absolutely not about taking elementary school math and just shoving it down onto younger and younger kids. It's not about filling out worksheets or just memorizing facts.
Instead, it looks like this. It's that natural, kind of spontaneous learning that happens when kids are just, well, being kids. It's all about them exploring concepts like more and less, sorting their toys into piles, spotting patterns, and figuring out how different shapes can fit together. It all comes right from their own curiosity.
Okay, so let's really dig into this core idea. Math isn't some separate subject that you do for 20 minutes a day. Nope, it's actually a way of thinking, a way of making sense of the entire world around us. It's in the songs we sing, the stories we read, even in the sandbox.
And this quote is so reassuring. It's basically saying that so many parents and teachers are already doing an amazing job, maybe without even realizing it. You're singing Five Little Ducks, you're asking how many scoops of sand it takes to fill a bucket. Guess what? That's math. That's math in action.
Now, to help us start seeing all these little math moments everywhere, we can kind of organize them into 5 big categories, or foundations. Think of them like the essential building blocks for all the math learning that's going to come later. So let's just quickly walk through these 5 strands. We've got number sense, algebra and functions, measurement, geometry, and finally, mathematical reasoning. And hey, don't let that word algebra scare you. I promise, at this age, it is way more fun than you remember.
All right, let's start with number sense. This is so much more than a kid just being able to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's about really, truly understanding what those numbers mean, that core concept of how many.
Just look at the progression here. A 4-year-old can usually count a little group of things, touching each one as they say the number. But just 1 year later, that ability often doubles. That is a huge leap in understanding what a quantity actually is.
And this is how we build on that understanding. A super simple question during snack time makes an abstract idea like addition feel totally real and meaningful. The child isn't just hearing numbers, they're experiencing them. And that's what's so important, connecting numbers to their world. It builds this amazing foundation of confidence for all the math that's coming down the road.
Okay, so let's move on to the other foundations and see how this all connects. We're going way beyond just counting now to see how things like geometry, algebra, and measurement are literally all around us. Getting a handle on these ideas helps kids make sense of and navigate the physical world.
See, I told you algebra would be fun. At this age, it has absolutely nothing to do with X and Y. It is all about classifying things and recognizing patterns, which are really the foundational skills for all logical thinking.
This is just a perfect example. A kid on a nature walk, sorting leaves into different piles, maybe by color or size or shape, is actually doing early algebraic thinking. They're creating sets, they're identifying attributes, they're building this mental framework for how to organize information, which is going to help them solve all kinds of problems later in life.
And right here we see geometry in action during playtime. Just by using precise words like square, rectangle, and on top of, an adult is helping a child give voice to their spatial understanding. This isn't just learning vocabulary, it's about developing the spatial reasoning skills that are critical for everything from science and engineering to just, being able to read a map.
So, the big question is, how can we take this kind of learning and bring it outside the classroom? Well, the great news is that our homes are naturally overflowing with math opportunities.
Look at these simple but powerful ideas. Cooking together, that's all about measurement. Can you pass me 1 cup of flour? A walk around the block can become a shape hunt. Hey, look, the window is a square, but the door is a rectangle. Even sorting laundry is all about classification. The real key is just to talk about it, to notice, and to name the math that is already happening all around you.
And that really brings us to the most important shift in how we think about this. The adult's role isn't to be a lecturer standing at the front of the room. It's to be a guide on the side. Our job is to spark that curiosity and then provide the language and the tools they need for their own discovery. These principles right here, they really sum up the whole approach.
It's about starting with what the child is already interested in. It's about using daily life as your textbook, and it's about asking great questions instead of just giving answers. It all comes down to collaboration and just paying attention.
I just love this final quote because it reminds us what the real payoff is. When we approach math with this sense of shared discovery, it's not just a chore anymore. It becomes genuinely joyful and exciting, not just for the child, but for us too.
So, I'll leave you with this question to chew on. After everything we've talked about today, where are you going to spot the next opportunity for mathematical discovery? Maybe in the kitchen, at the park, or during story time? I guarantee you, once you start looking for it, you are going to see it absolutely everywhere.